All right, everyone, welcome in. It's Now You Know. It is late December, and it's time for my favorite bearded guy to come along and bring us all kinds of treats and presents this time of year. And of course, by that, I mean my fellow black hoodie friend, Trevor Zammit, who is the brand manager of TMNT at NECA Toys for our annual wrap-up discussion. Trevor, as always, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Nick, thanks for having me. It's good to see you again.
How are things going with you at what I have come to learn is always a hectic and busy time of the year for the industry for which you work in, right?
Yeah, end of the year is always, it's always crazy because it's just like trying to get stuff at the factory figured out before they shut down for their holiday. And then, we're right back into like Toy Fair in February. So, yeah, it's always a stressful time of year.
You very much operate in the future in your present day. So on this day, you have to like jump into the past to talk about what's present for us. But it's always appreciated. And we, of course, love to talk about and focus on our favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as I think we're going to catch some conversation about Sesame Street for this one as well. So hopefully everybody's going to enjoy it because this coincides well with what NECA has a tradition of doing this time of year. It's like the 12 days of Christmas countdown with releasing checklists for all of your I guess bigger and long-running lines, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they have 3 separate checklists this year because, my goodness, you have a lot of stuff that you've been working on.
There's a lot of Ninja Turtles over the years. Just keeps piling up.
Well, I kind of like the way that you guys have them organized with kind of in the cartoon compartment, and then kind of like the movie or the movie adjacent stuff, and then the comic stuff. So I think what I'd like to do is probably just pull up these beautiful checklists that I wish that I had like a large scale printer to actually print out and hang up on the wall each year. But let's go right in and start with what I guess I can say is like the largest collection that's going right now, and that is the cartoon collection, which now not only features from the original 1987 cartoon, but also we're going to come down here and talk about what's new this year is the 2012 cartoon. So as is also tradition with these checklists, you guys get everything on here nice and organized, and there's always some surprises on here. So looking back to where this started all the way back at Comic-Con with that pack of Turtles and Shredder and Krang and Foot Soldier, we've come a long way and through a lot of different things. So the first thing as I was scanning this, though, is like, oh, here's a little surprise that we've come to see on here, and that is in the form of Ninja Splinter ninja'd his way onto this checklist.
Yeah, there's a Ninja Splinter. A little Easter egg of maybe what might be coming out next year. So that's it's a cool outfit. That's like from I forget the episode. It's like there's a flaming sword or a magic sword or something. But yeah, he's a cool figure.
Well, it's I think when you take a line this far, just because of who's like actually on the screen right now, it's like, oh my gosh, we're getting guys that weren't even on the cartoon in cartoon form, like Panda Cup this past year, which was one of my favorites of this year. But we're really getting into some key and memorable variations of the main characters, like the bodacious Beach Bros for the Turtles at Comic-Con, but then also Ninja Splinter. So that's a fun one, and I would imagine he's probably going to be in the early part of next year since he made it on this list, right?
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Well, over here as well, I see. I think this is the first time. Is this the first time that the play sets have been featured on the?
I think no, they were on last year too. I think. Yeah.
Okay. You'll have to forgive failing memory in the blur of everything. But we're up to the sewer layer in Donatello's lab, and of course, I hate to talk about things that aren't on lists like this, but I know that these were originally shown off in like 3 parts, and there's still another piece of this Home of the Turtles out there. Is there any news on what it would be the kitchen?
Yeah, there's still a kitchen. It's still in the works. There's a lot of stuff, with prices just keep going up and production costs, all that stuff with the factory. So, the kitchen, it's got a lot of unique parts. It's an expensive piece, and we're just kind of waiting to see if there's a good time or like a right time to to try and make it happen. So.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and if like you can see my display back here, it's like I've got to wait for like all 3 of them to come. So it's like my like seat scenes don't like jump up and down so that they're all level across. So I've got it set up for 3 back there. So yeah, hopefully we will get to see that happen. But looking at, I guess, just the good guys that are out here now. So many, like I said, key, memorable variations of the main characters, but also just characters from the cartoon that I never thought would be possible. And you guys have brought them to plastic life. But really, thinking about it, there are still characters from the cartoon left to do. So you still got some work ahead of you as the cartoon line continues, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're not done yet. There's still more characters somehow.
Yeah. I think people's lists are getting more pointed and have commonality from person to person in terms of who makes those lists. And I can't help but think about how a lot of the characters on those lists are still some of the bad guys, even though I think you guys have done just as many villains as you've done heroes. But it's good to see that Robo Toka and Robo Raz are still down here as well, along with Vacation Slash. Now, you guys have shown those guys off, but I would say that they're probably getting closer to release at this point now too, right?
Yeah, they're Robo Toka and Robo Razar. Those should be out like early next year. Vacation Slash hopefully is like sometime after that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, not by chance. I was glad that they were right down here at this bottom piece, because they're also next to this character who has been, I think, kind of on and off of the checklist, maybe for subsequent years and whatnot. But Molecular Amplification Android Krang is back on the list, and it makes me like this because you got some news for us on this guy.
Well, just like the kitchen, he is he's a big, expensive piece. So it's like that. He's had a couple false starts. Like we're ready to go into production, start tooling like a while ago, and then we didn't do it, and then again it came back around, and there's always a conversation. There's always a meeting where it's like, I'm just constantly bringing up like, we still have that giant Krang we can make, so it's I'm hopeful someday, just like the kitchen, we'll be able to finally get him out there. He's not it's not done yet, so
okay, well that's good. Just I think he's from those first 5 episodes of the Turtles cartoon. They're just so memorable, and he has a large but kind of small screen time, but very, very memorable from when he's thrashing around New York City, wrecking everything. So
he's definitely like a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
He's got a definite presence that like no one can forget.
Yeah. I'm hoping that, much like the kitchen, things can get worked out so that we can see him make our shelves, because he's definitely a centerpiece item in terms of a long-running collection that still has a lot of exciting possibilities. And we talked about that because like I said, people's lists are getting to the point where it's like you see a lot of Ray, the whatever version of Ray was in there. Tempestra is a big one, but
Mhm.
I don't know. From your opinion, it's like, yeah, I want those guys, but then I start thinking about like very other variations, like suddenly the Idaho potato versions of Bebop and Rocksteady are extremely high on my personal list. But I don't
Yes.
know, like from where you sit, are there versions or characters that you guys, just because of timing or whatnot, haven't gotten to yet that you're particularly fond of? Not to like tip your hat on anything, but you've got to have some favorites still out there, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's some favorites, and it's a mix of like characters that we haven't done yet, and then like either variations or a costume or disguise of the classic characters like Bebop and Rocksteady in those potato suits. Like that is hilarious. Like those are definitely high on my list too. Are we actually going to make those? I don't know. We'd have to, some kind of weird, there'd have to be some opportunity. There'd have to be a reason that like all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, yeah, we got to make these potato suit Bebop and Rocksteady figures.
It's
So
like it's like you need like a partnership with like a chip company or the state of Idaho.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe like the state fair, like Idaho State Fair or something. Like I don't know.
Man,
Yeah,
that would drive up that exclusive would drive up entries into the Idaho State Fair like never before, I am positive.
yeah. So yeah, if an opportunity like presents itself, that's like, that's where those things kind of get pitched. So yeah, there's still like a big list of characters and yeah, it's a mix of new stuff and old stuff and more kind of like the what if style, like Panda Con, Robo Toka and Razar. Like there's still like an opportunity in Dark Leo, like we some of that stuff is it's yeah.
Well, variations like Granny Bebop and Baby Rocksteady, which are revelations as far as I'm concerned, for an action figure line, makes me continue to feel like all things are possible. But it's like you said, it's fun to balance that with what ifs, because I really enjoyed the Space Adventure Donatello and Samurai Michelangelo, and we already mentioned Panda Con. I mean, those are what ifs for the cartoon line as well, and I think it's fun to get ideas and characters like that in that same style, and brought into this line. So I really like the possibilities of those as well, for the cartoon line.
Yeah, the cartoon line's great, so you just keep adding to it, like as long as people are into it, you just keep that collection like growing. So
well, and I have to zoom way out just to like and still scroll to show the whole scope of this at this point, because I mean it's crazy, because I remember us talking not that long ago about, oh gosh, if there was the possibility to do cartoon turtles just even as an idea before you guys did that original San Diego set, and now look at us now. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I'd always hoped that we would get to something like this, but I mean, did you ever think we were going to get this far in a line like this? It's unbelievable.
It's insane. Like when we were doing like the Rock Soldier Infantryman,
yeah,
and that was around the same time we had like the Crooked Ninja Turtle goons and like Zack the Fifth Turtle.
Yeah,
that to me, like when we had gotten to like those characters, it was like, wow, this is crazy. Like there's so much stuff. And we did like Train Conductor Shredder this year, which is like, that's another one that like, we had, even with like Ken Matroni, we'd kind of like joke around because he's so into trains and stuff. So
I jokingly call him the Mitch Shredder. So that's what I call him. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about that, because I remember, again, like daydreaming on probably a conversation with this about the neutrinos, man. And even like that seems like forever ago. And it's like, well, now, of course, you guys were going to do them. But as things were coming along, it didn't necessarily feel that way. And now it's just like, man, you don't have to be shy about like really tempting your imagination about what the possibilities are. just because this has been going so strongly for so long. It's impressive, man. It's awesome.
Thanks. It's crazy to think like how far we've come, even like with Napoleon Colossus and Rex One and Chrome Dome, like doing those big, like oversized characters and the Pizza Monster. We've done quite a bit. So.
Well, and the rest of Bebop and Rocksteady's gang. I mean, I remember being so fascinated by them in the cartoons when I was a kid, because it's like, oh man, there's so much potential to have more mutant dudes on the show, and then it just never really happened. But now they live forever in plastic, man. That's great.
Yeah, that it's great that we've been able to get to like so much of that. Even like the Roadkill Rodneys, like I was always into them, like because they pop up in the video games too.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, so, I remember them more from the game than even the show. Yeah,
they were. We've been able to do quite a bit, and then like I remember like maybe it was last year when like Vacation Bebop and Rocksteady came out, and people were like taking them on vacation with like people would post on Instagram like them just like at the beach or like wherever, you know, and it's like it's so weird it's cool to see like people like, you know, just enjoying the figures and like, you know, taking all these like there's so much awesome like toy photography on Instagram. So, you know, that stuff's all it's cool to see like how we sit here and talk about that. Even like I'm looking at like Business Suit Casey Jones right now.
Which is one of the most subtly quiet greatest gags of that show, right?
Yeah. So,
but yeah, to speak of the vacation photos, is that there was something infinitely satisfying for me to be like scrolling through Instagram and seeing Vacation Bebop and Rocksteady waiting online at Disneyland for the Matterhorn. It's just like, well, hell yeah, that's where they belong. Yeah. That's great. I'm excited for what we have for what is yet to come. Because it's now we're kind of in expect the unexpected. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you have up your sleeve for the Fred Wolf 1987 cartoon line. We've got it. We have to differentiate it now. We can't just call it the cartoon line because 2025 marked your guys' venture into a second Ninja Turtles cartoon with the 2012 Turtles, which, just anecdotally speaking, from my own experience and what I've seen online, people are really, really pumped about these.
Yeah. They just came out. People are getting them. It's such a great show. It's a beloved, it's probably my favorite version of Turtles.
Wow. Really? That's awesome to hear. That's, I probably wouldn't guess that.
It's like a grown-up version, you know, like it's like, the storytelling and just everything about that show was like, it was made by people that like grew up on like the original cartoon toys, comics, kind of like this love letter to that, like their childhood or whatever. So it's kind of like the show that you wanted the original one to be in a way, you know, if that makes sense. Or that's how I feel. So
yeah, it definitely makes sense. And it's great because stylistically, it's very much its own thing, but at the same time, it takes its cues from all the way back to, you know, some of the comic things, the 87 show, all of that, and brings it in and does a really good job of making it its own. And I think that's one of the things that I was struck by, you know, the Turtles when I got them. At first, it was like, man, these are really, you know, distinctive Turtles, but they are so expressive to the characterizations of them that it's almost like universal. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's been good so far. People have like responded really well to it, and so we're gonna just keep making more figures as long as people like the stuff. So,
yes, I'm very excited for that, and it's like the first few releases with the Turtles themselves, and then of course the Foot Soldier, who is not quite out yet, but Shredder ended up releasing with the Turtles, which is awesome. So we're getting some bad guys to go with it, but for the show, and also kind of what you've started to tease out here is that, you know, there were some new bad guys. There were bad guys that weren't ever utilized in cartoons before. And Tiger Claw, what he debuted at New York, right?
Yeah, in New York.
I mean, that's a great one to jump right into right after, Shredder and the Foot Soldiers, right?
He's a really cool character, and just makes like a great action figure. He's like loaded up with weapons and blast effects. There's so much that happens to him on that show. So there's two different heads with the eye patch. Is like regular, like clean head. There's an extra forearm piece that's got his like robotic. And because like in the fourth or fifth season, he loses his hand and then gets like this robotic like attachment, and the hand comes off and it's got like a claw and like a little machine gun like plug-in piece. So he's just like, he's kind of like this big deluxe like figure just loaded up with stuff. So yeah, he's cool.
Well, with having Shredder and the foot bots and foot soldiers, they offer it's cool because it's like the foot bot is like the perfect combination of like movie influence and then also like robotic foot soldier, but again, 4 arms, and it's like completely its own. It's like when you guys announced this line originally, it was Comic-Con in 2024, right? I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to get the 4 turtles and it's going to be awesome. But now it's like, oh, well, you have me on the hook for everybody already, just because these designs are playing so well in plastic.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's the idea is once you get, you can't just get, it's like with the turtles, you can't just get one. You got to get all 4,
right.
Because they're just, they all go together, and then you want the villains, and they're all they're all so cool. We try to load them up with accessories and interchangeable parts and all that stuff. So and we're working with Ciro Neely that like created the 2012 show, and it's like, he's doing all the box art for us, and to get like his insight like on kind of designing the characters and kind of creating the show, and like he kind of did, it was his vision, his thing. So like getting to sort of like just pick his brain and like work with him has been like really, really cool. So
well that's awesome, because I still have all 4 or all 5 of the boxes from the figures that I have, because you guys are telling a story on the spines of these figures too, which is like, oh, okay, we're talking about the packaging, but man, seeing them all together on that rooftop scene even is such a cool feature of the packaging. So knowing that you're working with him and like how you work with other creators like Ken and Kevin too, it's cool to bring those creators into this line, because to your point, I think it brings something that can't be replicated any other way, right?
No, it's the best way to do it is to like work with, if those guys are available, or they want to so yeah, it's like over the stuff we make is like, it's so cool and it's so much fun. We do get like a lot of feedback from the creators or the artists and stuff. And it is like, do you want to work on this too? Like, this stuff better than anyone. So yeah, like having Kevin like doing all the Mirage artwork for us, having Ken working on the Archie stuff, or Ciro, and Ben Bishop working on the Ronin stuff. It's just like, it's great to just be going like directly to the source because you get stuck in these weird spots when you're developing the figures and you're not quite sure what something is, or there's not enough reference, or you just, instead of just making it up, you just like ask the guys that made it, and they're like, oh, okay, it's like this.
So from like your job perspective, that's got to be kind of a trip to like kind of be art directing these guys, right? for their stuff, right?
It's always insane. Like I'll get emails from Kevin in the morning or something, and it's always just nuts. So like Kevin's, hey, I got a couple sketches here, like let me know what you think of this, and Yeah, giving notes and Zero is like this mad genius, and like Ben is so insanely talented. It's just like, yep, looks great, it's approved. Like there's really, it makes the art direction go a lot easier, because you're just like, these guys are so good at what they do. You just sort of like stand back, just let them do their thing, and you're like, cool, yep, looks good. And, you know,
Well, it's just to me it just like you said, it's the right way to do it, and it affects all the way down, right? It's like the creators have, their original visions or however they think of things, and it comes to life through what they do, and that works its way into the figures that you get to make. And then for us, we're left with the best versions of them because from start to finish, it's like the important steps and the important feedback and all of that has been gotten. So it's definitely a trip to think about, and it's really cool to hear that continue on with this relatively new line. So like I said, I know I've been seeing, like, myself and other people are really excited for this. So I expect that you guys have some pretty good plans for 2012 going forward, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the works. Yeah, it's another, like, where are we at? There's another, I think we've got another like 8 figures or 10 figures, like, pretty far along. So
Yeah.
so, and maybe a couple, there's a variant, or just, there's always another version of a character that you can sort of, mess around with. And yeah, we've got a lot planned for 2012. So,
Well, and this again, that show lends itself well to some cool variations that can be done. But then also, I mean, when you've been working on Turtles as long as you have, I mean, you've worked on so many different characters. And again, as far as the unique characters go, this one just busts it wide open for new characters that have never really had a chance to, be worked on yet. So that's exciting to think about the possibilities there too. So
yeah, it keeps it fresh. It's like, there's so many different versions of Turtles. When one kind of gets a little boring or a little stale, you just jump over to work on some comics or something, or like going back and watching the 2012 show. There's certain episodes that are just like, they're so good, I just forgot about little details or something. So it is nice to just switch it up, and you work on the movie stuff for a little bit, and then you work on the comics and the cartoon, and then now the 2012 show. So yeah, there's a lot, but it's all different. And yeah, even with 2012, with character like Tiger Claw, that's like, putting him out now is like, what we wanted to get him out early, because there's never been another Tiger Claw figure ever.
Yeah.
So finding a balance between like the familiar characters like Casey Jones or Splinter, Metalhead, and then mixing them up with like characters that, first time, doing like a little debut of a new figure. So
yeah, absolutely. And if you're a fan of like the whole history of the Turtles, it's cool to see that, all these different shows or comics or whatnot, there's always at least, everyone does at least one best version of any character too. It's like, for some reason, just because of who works on it or the storylines in the show, it like, even if it's a character that maybe hasn't gotten like the attention that he maybe deserved or whatever previously, it's like they find ways of, blossoming in other versions of things. And I think 2012 has several of those. So it's cool to see, because, the 2012 version, Donatello is my favorite turtle, and the 2012 version of him is one of my absolute favorite versions of him, just because they really bring his character out in that one. So it's cool to see.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they all those characters had a lot more depth on that show. Like Shredder is just like so evil on that show. Not goofy, not like, there's nothing really all that. I mean, he's just evil and like just angry dude. Like that version of Splinter, I think, is probably the best version. Like Poon Lee doing that voice. Like he felt like the most like kind of commanding like father figure.
Yeah.
You know, and it's total. And Peter Renaday was fantastic on the original show, but
Yeah.
you know, it was just 2012 was just great because it's just they're it's its own thing, you know, and you don't have to, you know, it's kind of just its own. They're great. So,
Well, you know, just without even zooming out or anything right here, it's just like just Shredder alone with what you have worked on across different cartoons from, you know, kind of the cool 87 to Train Conductor to like the most evil Shredder there's been. I mean, there's a lot of range going on here just in these cartoon series. So it's quite impressive, man, and it has been such a fun adventure to be on thus far. And like I said, I can't wait to see where kind of both of these iterations go next because it's going to be fun.
yep, there's a lot of places we can go.
All right. Well, that said, another place where you guys have been living in for a while now, but is also just as iconic, not only in the original medium, but also in, you know, the figures that you have come to produce are the original movie lines and kind of the adjacent pieces, like the Universal Monsters crossover, which is right here at the top, which most recently we've been able to add 3 different versions of Shredder, who was, I don't want to say a long time holdout, but definitely a highly anticipated character to finally get in this line crossed up with Dracula. And you guys not only brought him out this past year, but also in 3 distinct decos as well.
Yep. Yeah, that took a while to get the design, you know, kind of where we wanted it. Everyone had an idea or an opinion, or, you know, it went through a couple different revisions, and then same with the paint too. It was just like, you know, there were just so many different places you could go with it. And we kind of we liked all of them. Like everyone had their own favorite. It was like this one or that one or what, you know, and there's always, Randy was like, we should just do all of them. And then we had, you know, we had all the different helmets and the, you know, yeah, so it kind of worked out. There's a Walmart exclusive, a Target exclusive, and then like a mass retail version. So we were able to get all 3 out. Everyone wins. So
yeah. He definitely, you know, plays well as a cross up with Dracula, but also in the confines of the larger line with him and of course Splinter, you know, on opposing sides, and appropriately Van Helsing versus Dracula. So that's kind of a fun piece to close off with that as well. So new TMNT and Universal this year. I will ask just because there aren't any newer or hints on this, but are plans still in motion to continue this line, even if it's like, you know, sometimes things have to be put down for a while and come back to just because of the breadth of everything that comes out. But are you guys still actively kind of playing in this sandbox?
This stuff we've kind of cooled down on right now. We showed a couple other figures last year at Toy Fair, and they ended up just being so big and so expensive, you know, that we're not going to be able to hit like that $35 or $36.99 price point. So yeah, some of these guys at the moment we're probably like cooling off on this for now, but nothing's ever like, you know, dead or canceled. It's stuff just kind of like, you know, goes on the back burner for a little bit. So hopefully at some point we'll be able to get those other 2 guys out, and then maybe more, because we had there was a few other designs and a couple other characters that I wanted to do in this line.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully another year or 2 we can get back to it. But yeah, at the moment it's like it's kind of, this is where we're at.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And sometimes it's just waiting for the right time or the right place to release something like that. So I know that that's something that you guys are always actively looking at. So it'll be cool to see if that can be found and get those, because those are some wild designs for the stuff that you showed for the two-headed monster and Metaluda.
Yeah, they're two of my favorites. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
hopefully we can continue those at some point.
Well, but still, as it stands, this is quite a unique collection, and we've gotten so many things that it kind of has a little bit of recall simply because there has been a mashup of the two properties in the past, but never done quite this way. And I really like the approach of using the Universal Monster movies, so that matches with the movie versions of the Turtles. And I think from a design standpoint and a final figure with details and whatnot, that was a good design decision that was made to cross those up like that.
Yeah, they were fun to work on for sure. When we started this, I don't know how many years ago it was now, but yeah, these were a blast to work on. So
yeah. Well, we will check back in on these at some point, but as you said, hopefully the time and place will present itself so we can see what the future might have in store for the TMNT Universal Monsters. But also we're talking about some new releases that happened within the context of, I guess, the traditional movie lines this year and the things that are adjacent, because the Shredder throne from Secret of the Ooze came out this year, which was just one of those. I talked about we should expect the unexpected, but man, I got to tell you, that one was completely unexpected, simply because of the blink and you miss it, or you may have missed it entirely just because of how it shows up in that second movie.
yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It's on the cards, right?
Yeah, it hit the cutting room floor, and I think the only place it ever showed up was on a trading card.
Yep.
And maybe it was in like a magazine or a book or something. But I remember the trading card and just being like, where was this in the movie? Like, what exactly happened? So yeah, I kind of went on this rabbit hole, down this rabbit hole of trying to research it and figure, and there's not a lot of information out there, but I was able to track down a couple photos from the set, and it was just like it was such a cool piece to have, like, this centerpiece for your movie collection.
Yeah.
This weird like junk throne. It was something that, like you said, cool, unexpected. That's kind of, we like throwing that stuff in there when we can. So
yeah. I've learned about details for certain costume designs and character designs through action figures before in the past, but it's it took having this on my shelf to be like, oh yeah, you idiot, those are car side panels that go into over the wheel wells and stuff on the back there. They weren't I think when I originally saw this on the card when I was a kid or wherever it was like, are those banged up old surfboards behind him?
Yeah, they kind of, a couple of them look like surfboards, but yeah, it's all junk car pieces, all cut up, and it's a weird thing. I would have loved to have seen this in the movie, where Shredder is designing this chair and commanding the foot soldiers or Tatsu or somebody to just get out a torch and start cutting it. This car over here and that one, and no, take this apart. No, it should be more like this. And
build me the most badass junkyard throne imaginable.
Yeah, that's the scene that we were robbed of. Getting. So.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. Within the confines of the storyline of Secret of the Ooze, it would not have been out of place. So it would have fit in. It would have fit in perfectly with that. So yeah. Now, in addition to that, you guys, you've done some re-releases to get like the turtles themselves back out in the market to help celebrate what we started with the 30th anniversary, and this year was the 35th anniversary, right? And I think it was a good idea to get the main turtles back out there for people who weren't collecting at the time, or were just in need of a refresh. So you guys have been definitely keeping these guys going in the market too, right?
Yeah, it's always good to have just like the standard turtles out there for people that are just finding the line, like coming into it now. So, yeah, so we wanted to put out a new set and then, do it like in the ultimate style. And it was something Randy had mentioned it to me a long time ago. And so we were taking all the accessories from the accessory set and just how do we break these up and split them up between between each figure, and they had just kind of sat there for a while. And yeah, there's like, I think Walmart wanted another set of turtles, so it's like whenever we get like a retailer request, we're always, oh, we could do, this is a good spot for these guys now, and it's the 30th anniversary. So if you're an old school collector, if you already have these figures, you're not really missing anything, and if you're brand new, it's great because you're getting this cool figure with all these new accessories and stuff. But if you're collecting the line from the beginning and you have everything, you have the accessory set, you have all four turtles, you're good. You didn't miss out. It's all just repurposed, for new collectors.
Yeah. Well, to your point, yes, it is good to have a not continuous, but a frequent refresh of the main turtles out there. But you guys have once again gone deep into the I guess lineup roster casts of at least the first couple of movies. But there's still some, I think there's still maybe some versions of the turtles and some unique characters that are still kind of out there. So I would imagine you guys are still working on movie stuff, and it's still actively in development, right?
Yeah, there's still movie stuff to be made. So there's always more. I don't know if we'll get to Chief Stearns or anything, but I mean, that's my number one.
He's number one for me.
I don't know if we'll get there, but yeah, there's always more. There's always another anniversary. There's always more to do. So,
well, Chief Stearns, I don't know why, but like when I was a kid all the way up through now, like one of my most quoted lines from that movie was the line of bullcrap that he gives April during his interview about his decentralized networking scheme. I don't know how many times I have said that. So I definitely need a plastic version of him to walk around my house and deliver that line as masterfully as I do.
Yeah, he's awesome, and I love that he came back for part 2.
Yeah. Yeah, because not everybody did. We even had a different April in part.
That's like in the Batman movies where it was like Alfred and Commissioner Gordon were always the same. Like they were the two
R2 and 3PO.
Yeah. So.
Oh, well, I have figures that I never thought imaginable from movies or movie adjacent things, like the Dimension X Christmas Vacation turtles all the way through, Spirit of Splinter. Even Casey's got a motorcycle. So, man.
Yeah, there's all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, it's when I talk about like iconic action figure versions, it's like I still hold those movie turtles to like the best versions of a certain version of toy that's ever been done. So this line definitely I have a soft spot for it, and I rewatch at least the original movie frequently. So it's fun to have all this stuff on the shelf, and I'm looking forward to what you guys might have in store for the future on this one too. So
Cool.
All right. All right. Well, that rolls us right into probably, I don't know. To me, it feels like the comic versions of the Turtles, and there are a few different comic versions that you guys are working on currently. But it seems to me like comic Turtles probably had the biggest year out of any of them for you guys this year. Am I wrong on that? It seems like there was a lot.
There's a lot. Yeah, the Mirage stuff for the last couple years has been going pretty good, and the Ronin stuff, like that's all exciting and new. So yeah, that was a big focus, and it was like, oh, where are we now? It was last year was the 40th anniversary, right, of the comics.
Yeah.
That was like the 40th anniversary of Turtles.
Yeah.
So it was like building up to the 40th. You know, there was just like a lot of momentum and a lot of excitement kind of swirling around the comics, because again, a lot of this stuff, it had just never really been done before in figure form.
Yeah.
So we're just having fun with it. So
well, if we're simply talking about Mirage right now, we're talking now, what are we up to? A 17 year stretch, because the original Mirage Turtle box set at Comic-Con, that was 2008, right?
yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I think.
And so we started here all the way, now we're getting into 2026, and who is this? Who are these characters? Like down here, we've seen, Nobody and Cyborg Donatello, Raph Shredder, Karai Mercenary, and now the Triceratops Shock Commando as well, are who I'm going to guess are first on tap for 2026, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nobody was one that it was like when I'm thinking about like versions of the Turtles that could be done, I have to say that I thought of Cyborg Donatello before he was debuted. I was like, okay, that's cool, but Nobody was one that I was definitely pleasantly surprised by his debut back at Comic-Con of this year.
Yeah, I think that was in San Diego.
Yeah. It's certainly an eclectic group for kind of the first offerings for next year. And I've got to say, I really like the Karai as Shredder figure, but this version of Karai is like the one that like lives in my brain, right?
Yeah, she's probably the most iconic because of those covers. I think everyone remembers this version. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then,
she's cool.
And then the Triceratops Shock Commando is a good way to get, that big figure base kind of out there, although he has a lot of newness. It looks like to me anyway.
It's all new. Yeah, there's no.
Yeah. And you can see like the Triceratops orange in him, but also with like the green sleeves and whatnot. It makes for a new dynamic look for, not just, more Triceratons of the same color, right? But there's certainly some variation here.
Yeah, another like iconic look for them.
Yeah.
And one that I did, eventually want to get to. So yeah, we did the Gladiator, I think the year before.
Yeah.
So then it was just like going back and doing this when they do that big invasion. They're like hunting Fugitoid or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and getting new versions of Triceratops Karai, who to me this is like the version of her. But man, this past year we also added the friggin' Gangster Turtles, which I've got to say those are some of my favorite Turtles that came out this year. Just because it's something that, again, I didn't think that, at least not yet, maybe we would get to these, but it's like they're so unique for versions of the Turtles too. It's just I love these.
Yeah, they're cool, and it's such a fun, like such a weird issue that they did. But yeah, it was like kind of taking that that turtle body we did like, I guess 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and just like finding kind of fun ways to reuse it. Yeah, this was again just kind of right up there, like high on the list. Like we got to do these gangster turtles. And
yeah, but man, they gotta have a Casey to go with them though.
Yeah. Maybe they will. Who can say?
The possibilities are just endless. But but you know, I guess they're next to each other just because of the order of how things came out. But then you put them next to the other versions of the turtles because you know you had a few different ones that came out this year with Hunter, Leonardo, Old Man Raph, Super Turtle, and Handyman Don. It's like these are so memorable just because of, again, the issues that they were featured in. But contrasting against those gangster turtles, man, it's just, again, the range of this little comic line.
That's the thing with the comics. It's like, maybe it's like unassuming or something, but you go through those all those issues they did, and it's like there's so much like cool stuff in there, and it's just like, oh, you know, it's kind of the same formula as like the '87 cartoon, where you're just like, all right, how many different outfits, like what versions of the turtles can we redo? And you know, I mean, the original toy line from our childhood, like that one had like just endless costumes and variations and stuff on turtles. So this isn't really any different than that. But you know, it's like, oh, Hunter Leo, like of course, like Old Man Raph. That's like such an awesome kind of, you know, that little mini episode, mini issue, mini series thing. You know, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with these turtles. So
well, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, some people will say, oh yeah, the vintage line had so many different turtle variations and the possibilities with this too. But it's like there's a reason for that, because again, these looks are so memorable and so desired, and they've never had figures before. It's like I know people are going bananas for this, and for someone like me who, admittedly, Leonardo is my least favorite turtle, but damn, that Hunter Leonardo figure is one of my favorite turtle figures that came out this year, just because everything works really well and it makes him very, very cool here. So it's I'm enjoying the possibilities of the variations of the turtles of the Mirage line as much as getting, you know, characters like Choate, you know, but it's like, you know, thinking about it, it's like, yeah, you've got these different like costume looks and whatnot, but even like, you know, the different artists that worked on it, getting their version of the turtles in a comic line is a lot of fun.
Yep. They had so many different artists. So yeah, trying to get, you know, all those guys, or as many as we can, like represented in the line is, that's definitely one of the goals. So they have all these different looks, and we didn't want to just do like a generic sort of toy version of those appearances. So yeah, we try to make them look like Jim Lawson or Eric Talbot or Michael Dooney, like when he's doing Choate and stuff. So it's trying to just copy the looks as close as we can, you know.
Well, and that starts with the very first turtles themselves. So they have come out in, you know, color and black and white versions as well, and it's all a part of, you know, I think everybody has their favorite, you know, artists who have worked on the comics, and they've had their favorite storylines. But, you know, as someone who is into, you know, turtles from start to finish, having this like almost, I don't know, is it weird to say, like this history now play out on the shelf like this? It's like these different versions and these different eras become so important, and to have them represented like this is a really fun aspect of collecting, especially the comic line for me. So it's awesome.
Everyone's got their favorite, you know, books, or they, you know, like a core memory that, you know, they got their first like Ninja Turtle comic. It was this issue, or it was this storyline, or, you know, there's always something. There's like a poster that people gravitate towards, or, you know, whatever it is. So
well, to your point, I mean, I was I was a little young. I was too young for the original run of the comics, and so I didn't pick that back. I didn't pick that up until I was much older. But like my first introduction to like what was actually like comic artist style turtles was like it was the box art and the sticker on the old original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Nintendo cartridge game.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's all a part of it. So just seeing it now, it gives you an appreciation for the not only the breadth of the property but the history of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you try to pay respect to all that stuff, and you know.
Well, there's an awful lot just in the Mirage section, and again, I feel like the comic lines are the ones that are the most like right now, at least for me, the most exciting for things to like not really try to think about what you guys are working on, but kind of being surprised by it simply because it can go in so many different directions. So I don't know. I don't know where you guys are headed with comics stuff for 2026, but I know it's going to be unexpected and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm just and like I said, that comes from characters we haven't seen and turtles in the ways that we haven't had yet. So
yeah. Try to be a little bit unpredictable, not too, not too familiar. We don't want to just keep repeating ourselves. So yeah, it's challenging, but there is some really cool stuff that we are working on. So hopefully people are excited next year when they see what we have planned.
all right. Well, as much as I have been, with the Mirage line really from the beginning, and as much as I am enjoying it, the Last Ronin is something that, again, that what I originally thought was going to be kind of a one-off figure has really blossomed into a full line of, very extremely modern takes on turtles. And again, you guys were busy this past year, not only with filling out what people kind of recognize as, the main Last Ronin comic, but kind of the continuation of it, even with the new turtles that have come out this year.
Yeah, that's it. We could have just stopped after that first Ronin figure, but we kept going. The comics were so cool, and then the comics kept going. It was it was originally just like a 5-issue thing, and it just kept expanding and stuff, and so Kevin and Ben Bishop and all these guys, they're so excited about telling all these new stories and especially like with Ben, like getting to design like the new turtles,
Mm-hmm.
and just Ben's designs are just screaming out like, I want to be an action figure. So
Yeah.
it's really like, it's really hard to not just make everything you see in the comics, because there's so much cool stuff. And it's been a lot of fun to work on.
Well, to your point, the designs are, very much in the spirit of the turtle stuff, but gives you a lot of new avenues as far as the design goes, from colors to different textures and whatnot, as far as these guys go. And we've seen these versions of them, debuted at shows, but there have been Grammy April with a couple of them, but now we're seeing on this list Casey Marie with the other two in their more infantile forms, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's like all the core characters from the books. So yeah, doing Grammy April and Casey Marie, and then the little, again, anytime we get to make like mini figures or the little these little baby characters, it is kind of like it's to me, it's like a throwback to like the original.
Exactly.
You get Wingnut, but then there'd be like Screw Loose or Joe Eyeball, or like or you go to McDonald's and you get like a little Garfield like mini figure, or Muppet Babies like mini figure. Like I loved always getting like those little buddies with with your toys and stuff. So yeah, anytime we can do like, we don't get to do enough of them, I think. So, yeah, it's fun when we can do like baby Odin, Baby Uno, Baby Moja, and Yi. So
Yeah. Yeah, and it's I'm completely with you on that. It's like I have never stopped like really liking the little figurine aspects in the pack-in, sidekick figures and whatnot. And every time a modern figure comes out with something like that, it automatically like goes up a level with me to have something like that included. So these are actually like the perfect for those, not only for that purpose, but also it's like, I mean, we see them when they're little, and so it works along great from a storyline perspective too.
yeah. When we'd have these meetings with like Kevin Eastman, and he'd sort of pitch the basic idea of like when they did the Lost Years and Re-Evolution and stuff, and it was like when they did he said like each issue was going to be like, a different, the new turtles are going to be at a different age. You're going to see them like kind of grow up through the 5 issues. So, or like, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to make like 5 different ages of these turtles, but we can definitely do like a baby or a toddler version, and then do their more grown up, like teenage versions and stuff. Those seem to be like the, kind of the main versions of them. So.
Yeah. Well, it was something that I guess all the way back even to like the storyline of the comics, you thought, okay, well, this is going to be kind of not a one shot, but like a limited series, and then it's going to be done, and it's going to be a single figure release. And now look at the comics and look at this line. It's like, my goodness, it's definitely become something in and of itself, and it's again different versions of the turtles and characters in a style that we haven't seen before, with support of original artists and stuff like that. So it's like getting the same treatment as some of these others that have long histories. Ronin is relatively new, but still I appreciate and that it's being treated the same way here. So
it's all new, but yeah, it's the stories are all like they're all just, everything just is great. Like the designs, like having these turtles like suited up, they just make great action figures. There's there's a lot of sadness in the books. The turtles are dying, and so
hard to read.
But then you can do like a translucent turtle, because they're either a ghost or they're in Michelangelo's like memory, and so then you can do that. And then like when Ben had those Night Watcher flashback pages where everything was just like, this like really dark, like the red and black and gray, everything was so striking looking. It's just like, these are, and they weren't just repaints. There's a lot of new pieces in there. So like, the stories are great, but it was just like this great like playbook for a toy.
Yeah,
that's how I read the books. I was just like, we'll make this, we'll make that. This is cool.
Well, to your point, it's when people of a certain age who grew up with certain things, it comes into either consciously or subconsciously into how things are expressed through their own creativity. And to your point, lends itself quite well to a modern.
It's hard to when you grow up with this stuff, like you were just so spoiled in the 80s, and in the 90s and stuff. So if you're you grew up back then with all the cartoons and comics and toys and everything, if you're a creative person, if you're an artist or a writer, that stuff is just in your head. You can't help it. So
well, from the gritty to my opinion of the part of the turtle lines that I'm having the most fun with, and to your right now, and to your point, to me is like the ultimate manifestation of growing up spoiled with this type of stuff in the 80s, and what I would consider to be like the ultimate modern incarnation of that is continuation of the TMNT Adventures line with new characters, and some very unexpected when they were announced. But I've got to say, this is one of my favorite sublines to collect right now.
From the gritty to the greatest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's no doubt. That's
Yeah.
no doubt. And this year has seen us get the absolutely stunningly iconic Ace Duck in his stump wrestling appearance, which is, this may say something about me, but is by far the greatest Speedo-clad action figure I've ever. So.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And he
cool
knows it too. He knows it too.
He knows it. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely one of the weirdest and coolest and funniest figures that we've made. I think it's it should definitely be a contender for everyone's figure of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a take on a character that had absolutely no right to be as good, as funny, or whatever as it became, simply because of the absolute insanity of the complete 180-degree turn that it was taken with Ace Duck in this, and I love it.
If you could go back 30 years and just tell them, like when Jim Lawson and those guys are making these books, you go, and because the lore, everyone says everyone hated that character. They all just thought he was that Ace Duck was stupid or whatever. So if you go, that's what I heard anyways. That's a
wow.
But it's I just love to think if you could go back then and tell them in the year in 2025 there's going to be this big roided up muscly plastic duck based on just a couple panels of one issue. You know? It's I don't know, it's funny to think about.
It's definitely some beautiful thing, and I'll tell you, it was that figure hung out by the pool with me quite a bit this past summer, because why the hell not?
That's where he belongs.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because when even before you guys announced that figure, I was like, you're gonna do it. It's gonna come out and it's gonna be glorious and I'm gonna love it. And all of that came true. It's crazy to me though to kind of counterbalance that with something well, of course I would expect a Shredder eventually in this line, because he was very present in the adventure comics and whatnot. But it was a look for Shredder that I've always liked. But man, this figure didn't come out of nowhere, but it really surprised me with how much I absolutely freaking love this figure. As maybe my favorite Shredder figure that ever at this point. I just, there's something about him, and it's not just the Krang, it's everything else with his build and costume and whatnot, that this one turned out great this year too.
Yeah, thanks. It's a weird moment in the comics that just kind of lives in your head, forever.
Yeah.
And Tom was sculpting them. It was it shared some parts with that new cartoon Shredder.
Uh-huh.
We were sculpting them at the same time, I think. But I didn't, when this one came out, I really did not want it to just look like a repaint of our new 87 Shredder. So I made sure we had a new he has a wider upper torso. Yeah. The armor pieces are all different. There's a little lip and stuff around. We wanted to make sure there was enough the belt and the little tunic piece. Wanted give him enough of his own parts. That he does. I just didn't want it to look like a repaint of the 87. Even with the little the ink lines and the cross hatching and stuff that Jeff and Mike do with the paint. I wanted to make sure there was there's enough to make him stand out, give you a reason to buy both. If you're buying, you're buying the 87 and the Archie lines.
Well, I admittedly, and probably unsurprisingly, I have a lot of Shredders. But this one, even when you don't have the Krang on for his head, he still stands out amongst the Shredders as being extremely unique. So if those were the goals to, even further set him apart from what we've seen so far, you guys definitely accomplished that, because he definitely stands out even amongst. Yeah,
even the mask. I want to make sure that the covering up his face, the face plate there's just like a tiny little sliver, that this piece was wider. So yeah, we wanted to make him kind of his own thing.
Well, and the white that is used on the figure to, play up and represent how, the chrome, silver, or whatever was done in the comics, really stands out on its own too. Again, also with the paint effects that you spoke about with the cross hatching and the shading too. That really sets him apart as well and gives him a nice color range that Shredder doesn't usually have, right?
It's all that stuff goes into it. Yeah, it's like just how to make the character really pop, and just you don't want to do the same kind of like gray tones, and so it's trying to, and then that also gets challenging for the factory, where it's like trying to do that reflective, those reflective parts, but the black lines are always very complicated, and trying to just make all that work is
well, that makes me like want to go down the rabbit hole of, as you're working with the factory on some of these things, because as you said, like the black lines to like bring out like the actual line work that was done, but then if you look at like Shredder's shin piece right here, it's like this lighter blue is applied to like create kind of a reflective effect to it, or whatever. It's like how does that process work with kind of getting your counterparts at the factories to understand like the effect part of it and how it's done? I mean, that's got to be a unique challenge.
It is. Yeah, it's a challenge. It's always there's a lot that I'm trying to figure out how to simplify this answer, because it's like, we want like when Jeff and Mike are painting these things, they're looking at all the comic book reference, but then you also have to balance like what is and isn't possible at the factories. And then like, like there's a few people that work directly with the factory. So we're always asking them like, do you think they can do this? Or like, what can't they do? So it's always trying to find that, like that balance of, making it look as cool as possible without like kind of breaking their brains, or just making the figure like cost $1 million, so it's
right.
It's always a challenge.
Well, they pulled it off nicely, and like I said, it's like even though Shredder has no shortage of action figures, it's still kind of rare to be able to say, well, this is the coolest Shredder I think I've ever owned. But that happened this year with this one, and he made it he's making it, spoiler alert, onto my list this year, when I probably wouldn't have expected that to happen at the beginning.
There's a lot of Shredders that came out in the last like couple years, and that's another challenge too, is just like trying to, at this point we've done so many of these guys, it's like, how do you just keep them looking fresh and looking different enough, and getting people to like go back and buy another one. And obviously like we needed to upgrade the 87 Shredder, that was like long overdue. But then just finding ways like this Krang Shredder, just those Jim Lawson Shredders in the Mirage line, like making them like really stylized, and like it's challenging. We've been doing this for so long now. It's like, how do you just keep everything like looking new and fresh and exciting?
Well,
you want to just repeat yourself like over and over.
Well, there's that part of it, but it's also, I guess a comfort is that like some version of a character is always someone's version of that character. And so that's definitely true with Shredder. But for me personally, even though that vintage action figure style Wingnut is something that's lived with me for a long time, when I first saw this version of Wingnut, that instantly became like the one that I identify as far as Wingnut goes. And so getting this Mutanimals version, is what I just call it, of Wingnut and Screwloose, is a big deal for me as well.
This is it's the coolest looking version. It's definitely the Archie line is Mondo Gecko and the Slash, like they're I think the best versions of, or like the best looking versions. Just Wing Nut and Screw Loose, they're awesome. It's such a fun design.
It's the Archie, the original Archie books didn't have like the same size audience as like the cartoon and whatnot, of course, but it's like for those who were aware of it and were into it, it's like those characters, especially that you said, those like instantly became those of us that knew it and experienced it, our favorite versions of them, right, from a design and character standpoint. This one, of course, obviously, because it is like what I consider to be my version of Wingnut, the fact that, and Screwloose, the fact that it adds to our near complete core team of the Mutanimals is awesome. But the piece that really, one of the pieces that really got me with this, that I did not know, I didn't realize that you were doing this until I actually had the figure in hand, and maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention or what, but was the swappable lower part of Screwloose that is actually sitting down to like ride on the back of the wings correctly. Man, that was like, I'm rarely surprised by, you know, inclusions or things with stuff these days, because you see so much of it ahead of time. And like I said, it may have been that I wasn't paying close enough attention, but that got me when I opened this set.
Man, if we ever quote you again in another box, I'm going to put, I'm rarely surprised by inclusions.
Well, that's something that, you know, it's like you've like created monsters out of all of us, because it's like, because of the work that you guys have done and some of those like accessory inclusions and all of this stuff. It's like, well, it doesn't surprise me just because of the history that's there, but that one did, because I was not expecting it, and it was there. And I love the fact that you can do like the flying look with Screwloose just looking absolutely batshit maniacal, sitting down on the back of the wings.
Yeah, that was a challenging part, because some of these guys, you know, especially with the minifigures like Screwloose, he's too small to really have that much articulation, like in the hips and the knees and all that. So yeah, it was like, how are we going to get him to, you know, some people might want to display him in a flying pose. You know, like, how are we going to do this? And just especially with the cartoony figures, they can get into such, like the way Ken and all those guys would draw them, they're in such extreme kind of dynamic poses, you know. It was like, it just, to me, I was like, I think it just makes the most sense to let's just do like a pair of sitting, you know, legs, and then you can just swap those parts out. And then in the chair that's on his back on the wings, like that can ratchet, that slides down. So if you want him like standing on the chair and kind of looking over the shoulders of Wingnut, he can do that. But if you want to have him just like, you know, sitting there and flying, you know, we got you covered for that too. It was like, yeah, we were working with Brody. He was sculpting that one, and I was like, I think you just need to sculpt like another pair of legs, like have them just sit down.
Well, you have successfully tortured me by my options, because I simply cannot decide. I have changed like the display pose and arrangement on this figure probably 5 or 6 times since it got here not that long.
Good.
I can't decide, because it just makes, all of them just make me crack up, and so it's a lot of fun. I was so glad that this figure came out, and him with, you know, like the aforementioned Mondo Gecko and my guy Man Ray and Dreadmon and Jaguar. It's like, I know there are a lot of reserve members, and I hope we get to all of them, but man, we are charging towards that, what I consider to be the core Mutanimals team, coming to full life in this collection.
Yep, getting close.
Well, we can't, you can't bring them all out too fast, but because that allows for us to see some other options, because the latest Archie figure that I've gotten that has been released, is that I was lucky enough to catch her when she was up on Target, was April is the 5th turtle, which is really cool for a lot of different reasons, but just having April as a turtle is another one of those comic occurrences that didn't, you know, hit everybody's radar, but is a cool part of the history of not only the comics but April herself.
Yeah. And it's another, how do we get another turtle out? And it's like,
Yeah.
It's a turtle, and we can reuse some parts from the Stump Wrestling Turtles, and it's so cool. It's another character, and yeah, why not?
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's cool to have, and we have the Stump version of the turtles themselves. But man, I really love getting April as the fifth turtle, but whew, it makes me want some just I guess I call them standard Archie turtles of the four brothers as well, because this is a very the articulation and posability of this figure turned out very nicely.
It's all new sculpt. So we tried to when we did the Stump Turtles, I mean, those are all new sculpts and upgraded. I think those are maybe the first we did with pinless joints.
Yeah.
We made sure that we put in the double elbows, because the original cartoon turtles didn't have that.
Yeah.
So we wanted to just upgrade them, and make we were always trying to make the stuff. We always wanted to look good, but we wanted to the posability and all the other stuff. We want that to evolve and get better too. So we're always looking to kind of push it further.
Well, that's that type of development and things that are brought forth on each subsequent release and whatnot is the thing that makes me like, okay, I definitely want those regular Archie turtles, but it's kind of cool to see these other changes, improvements, if you want to call them that or whatnot, happen along the way, because then when we get to those, then they're going to be kind of the fruits of everything that have come before them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but while we wait for those, one of the craziest announcements that you guys had this year, and is kind of like the last little piece of the checklist for the TMNTA, is Garfello and Odie, who again, talk about it's not even a panel, it's like a half advert, right? In one of the comics where Garfield and Odie make cameos with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because the 90s were awesome.
Yeah, everyone was hanging out back then. So it was like a one-page crossover, and Nickelodeon asked us if we'd be interested in doing this, and we were like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then it ended up really being when we showed the figure off at Comic-Con in San Diego, it was I think it got a bigger response or a bigger buzz than just about anything else. At least for all the turtles and the stuff that I'm working on, that was definitely the one thing that everyone seemed to be talking about. So that was cool. And there's that the big stack of pizzas that he comes with is just that alone is one of the best accessories we've ever done. But we loaded them up with stuff. There's 3 different heads, and all the eyes are interchangeable, so you can mix and match the expressions. Cool. They're tiny figures, but they've got a good amount of articulation. They've got elbows and knee joints, interchangeable hands. Odie's got the 2 heads. He's got the shell head with the tongue, and then he's got just a regular Odie head.
Nice.
And then I should go grab the box art, because Jason Yang did the box art, and it's unbelievable. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab that because I think we showed it at New York, but I don't know if enough people have seen it yet. Hold on.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so hold this up. Can you guys see this?
Oh man, that's hitting me in the feels for Pizza Hut long gone.
So anytime, and then the side has the little the thing. So, but it's a great box. And then on the back he's standing on the pizzas and stuff. So, but when Jason did a bunch of sketches for this box, he usually usually the artists will do like, 3 or 4 or 5 different thumbnails just for different ideas. And when Jason came up with this one, I was like, this is so good. This is perfect. And this is one of the best box illustrations I think we've done. It's so much fun. You know exactly what it is. Like right when you see it, it's like, it's just perfect. Well,
and Garfield's one of those characters that he's like the Turtles, where like you don't expect people. Well, you expect people to like Turtles, but you don't expect people to like quietly like have a love and appreciation for Garfield. And it's like he cycles through like with multiple times through generations, but definitely generationally in terms of like everyone's version of Garfield. I gotta tell you, it's like, as you said, like the response was huge, but it kind of doesn't surprise me, you know?
Yeah, it's yeah, you're right. No, he is like, it's just Garfield. Everyone knows him. He's very relatable, it's just
very relatable. Yes.
everyone loves Garfield. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just like the Turtles.
Yeah. So you have, was that boxed version of him? Is that final production? Is it close? We're getting close to release for it.
Yeah, this is should probably be right off the production line.
Wow.
So yeah, this should be out early next year. Yeah, if they haven't shipped yet, they're shipping soon. So,
well, I can't wait for that. I'm very, very excited for that to be the next kind of TMNT adventure figure. So which then kind of closes out that portion of here. And by no coincidence, these are featured kind of just chronologically at the bottom of the checklist, but also it works out well for me personally, because I have to say, the other comic Turtles that you guys announced this past year were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Usagi Yojimbo, Stan Sakai versions of the Turtles. And I don't know, man. I got to tell you, these are probably some of my most anticipated Turtle figures ever. I hope they are very close, because the wait is positively killing me. But I saw these, and I know you were there at Toy Fair when they were shown off the first time, and it's like I had to be quiet and just look at them for a while because I was so taken by them, and I cannot wait for these Turtles.
Yeah, they'll be out early next year. And again, just like the Garfello, I don't remember anything this year getting a bigger response than like these Stan Turtles and the Samurai Usagi.
Yeah.
Again, not like it's surprising, but it's not, because we've done so many Turtles at this point. But yeah, these are so unique to Stan, and Stan's artwork is so awesome. People love Stan and they love Usagi. So like, it's surprising, but it's not surprising at the same time, because
his style is so endearing. Like, I don't know if endearingly is the right word for it, but it's so expressive in pulling out like just the characterization or the expressiveness of the Turtles in a way that is completely uniquely his, but also very on point and brand for the Turtles. That it's like, Usagi's played in the Turtle world a lot, and this is like the first plastic version of the Turtles playing in the Usagi world, and I think I'm in love.
Yeah, they're really fun. So yeah, I'm really happy with how they turned out. And just with the sculpting and the deco on them, like we always try to make it look like it either jumped out of the screen or it just jumped off the page. And all the head sculpts for these guys are great.
I was gonna say,
there's so much detail on that Usagi, on the all his armor and stuff.
Yeah.
They're really, really cool. And the shells on the Turtles, like Stan had a very specific way of like how he would draw the shells, and they're like, these don't look like any other figures we've done. So
they're almost boxier or wider than the turtles typically are, and the plastrons or whatever, they're very like more, they have a more geometric feel to them, which is weird to say because I always think of like Stan's art as being very flowing, but it all just kind of works together very well. And I've got to tell you, it's like, if this isn't how, after seeing this figure, if this isn't how you picture like Michelangelo in your head after this, is like, I don't know what to tell you, because that's just like, that's the most adorable Michelangelo I think I've ever seen. And again, he's had a history of, cute figures. So
he's got a history of being adorable. And
yeah,
this is somehow, I mean, that was like the 2012 Mikey too. He did that cute face, yeah. But yeah, it's even if I don't know, I don't know what else to say about them. They turned out really cool. I'm glad people are like excited about them, and yeah.
Now each one of these are kind of releasing in a box. Are you calling them ultimate versions of them, or they're individually carded, not a box set, I guess, right?
They're all individual. I think they're ultimates. They don't have a flap on the box. They're
okay.
It's just a window box, but I think technically they're still ultimates. I'm pretty sure they each have two heads, a bunch of hands, a bunch of weapons and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I think I've either mentioned this before or I've said it in my head countless times. It's like, I think I do a pretty good job of getting like figures displayed within my collection to my liking, the way that I like to have them. But it's like these have kind of like turned things on its ear for me, because it's like, I have got to figure out like a nice outdoorsy, like nature looking display with trees and rocks and things for these, because they just deserve to be displayed in what would be their Stan Sakai natural element for me.
I've wanted to build a dio for these guys for a while, with pretty much exactly like you described, just having a big tree, a little stream, a bunch of just like a little hill, just kind of pulling stuff right out of Stan's comics and everything. That seems appropriate and kind of fitting for this set, not like dingy sewers and dingy city streets and everything.
Yeah, it makes me wish that I had Matt K's talent for that kind of thing, to put that together and just have in my display. But I'm going to come up with something that I can do, because these guys definitely deserve that. But of course, me being happy for these because they're awesome, and I seriously cannot wait. Like I said, they're some of my most anticipated turtles ever. It's like, it makes my brain start to go, man, now that we're actually, the turtles have come into Usagi's world, what other possibilities might there be in Usagi's world? Because, man, there's some coolness to think about there too.
That's true.
Well, man, from those original sketches of the turtles all the way through the cartoons, the TMNT, the Last Ronin, and now into the Usagi Yojimbo Stan Sakai inspired turtles. These are some definitely crazy checklists when you think about the breadth of turtles that you guys have done. And with things like Stan turtles, it's like new things keep happening, and they're so much fun and just as engaging. So you keep setting bars for yourself, man, that you got to keep jumping over. But I'm sure having a good time watching you try to do it.
It's I've been very fortunate to work on this stuff for so long, and we have such a great team of artists and designers, and there's just all these people that really do all the hard work, and it's cool to see it. When you put it all together on these checklists, there's just like so much stuff. I mean, we take it to like San Diego or to New York or whatever, and you see the reception we get from people. It is like it is really cool. So I don't know what next year we'll have.
But well, you do, but that's you living as future Trevor that we can't completely get into at the moment.
Yeah, there is some cool stuff planned for next year, definitely.
Well, probably to your chagrin, but to my happiness, Toy Fair ain't that far away, friends. So I'll be looking forward to seeing what's on tap for that, because we're less than 2 months away from that at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a lot of great turtle stuff, and I appreciate the conversation with that. I do have to say, though, that before we go, we've got to touch on something else that is extremely near and dear to my heart, that has probably been with me as like a favorite thing for longer than anything, and newly minted into action figure form, because not only do you work on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but you also work on something else that I absolutely love and adore now, and that is Sesame Street. And this year saw the release, or the start of your Sesame Street action figure line, with the releases of Bert, Ernie, and Count Von Count. And again, that's one of those things that I personally, and what I see anecdotally, people are going absolutely bonkers for. And we're going to be continuing on with stuff. I feel like 2026 is going to be the bigger year for Sesame Street, right?
It's looking that way. So yeah, Big Bird should be out early next year.
Is the next one up? I know it's hard to like always tell, okay, this is the exact order, but I've been like trying to keep the order straight, and Big Bird is next, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. And he's obviously a deluxe figure who's gonna, kind of have his own, like, I would imagine, unique packaging and all of that to go along with him, because
it's the big box.
The Big Bird.
Big Bird in a big box. Yeah, there's we got a couple samples here from the factory, and it was just like kind of in the normal like cardstock like that they use. And the figure's so heavy, and it was like I put it up, I was like hanging it up on one of the hooks to see like how well the J hook would last,
Yeah.
And I was like, I think we need to like get a thicker like cardstock or something for this box. It's, like, it is, Big Bird is big, so yeah.
Well, that's excellent. This was his, and I have to give credit to John at Preternia, because he made it to New York Comic Con, and he was nice enough to allow me to use his pictures for the sake of this conversation. But this was kind of the most recent, at least like public shot of Big Bird, and kind of showing the progress that you guys have kind of gone through in terms of like the actual like production cycle itself, but also some of the, I guess, changes or updates that have been made to the sculpts and stuff as they've gone along too, right?
Yeah, that one's probably like that's definitely like a deco sample, because it's, the arms are moving, it's articulated and everything. So yeah, that's probably pretty close to final production, I would guess.
Yeah.
If it was New York Comic Con. So yeah, we didn't have too many changes. That thing went along. It was more, there's stuff on the test shots that we were adjusting, but it was more for the joints and like, making sure that the heads were interchangeable, and like it was more like articulation stuff. And deco, like the factory got the deco like pretty good on that one.
Well, he is Big Bird. And he is like one of the most well-known, if not the most well-known, Sesame Street characters. But I mean, you guys are getting into like a deluxe large figure quite early in the line. I mean, was that the plan like from the very beginning, or did things just kind of start to prove itself out early enough in the line that's like, yeah, we can just go for it with a deluxe release like this early as it is?
Yeah, we kind of just went for it because there was so much excitement around like Bert and Ernie and Count, like with the first couple, and it definitely, I didn't want to wait. I mean, it's Big Bird, you can't wait, you can't put them off for like too long. But then there was a couple other figures we were working on that ended up just taking longer than expected, so things did get shuffled around, and it was like Big Bird just kind of all of a sudden like came to the forefront because there's other figures were just like, had different like setbacks or challenges or just, delays and stuff. So yeah, Big Bird just kind of like jumped to the front, which is fine because it's Big Bird.
Big Bird, yeah.
There's no reason to like hold back or wait really. So
well, and when you're like, because I'm saying this because I recently moved where I had my Sesame Street stuff into a different shelf where I have more room for expansion. It's good to have, for me, a release like this earlier on because he's like a centerpiece figure, and you kind of build the rest of your display around it. So I'm glad that things worked out the way that they did, and he's going to be coming up soon because. I know that scheduling and stuff getting done are challenges, but man, it feels like it's been forever since I got counting, so I'm ready. I'm ready for Big Bird.
Yeah, there's definitely a longer gap there, that longer than we wanted, but yeah, we're gonna have a couple more figures coming out early next year, and hopefully it just keeps going after that.
Well, and he comes with the letter B, which is appropriate because it's a Big Bird, and it will make my eye stop twitching a little bit because I have A and C next to each other on the shelf right now. It's like those letters don't go. There's the B that goes in between there. So so Big Bird next, but then also we got a really good look at Oscar the Grouch at New York Comic Con too, and he's where is he kind of falling as far as order goes right now?
He'll definitely be out next year. Could be in the later half of the year just because there's still some stuff with the trash can and some of the mechanics.
Oh yeah,
they're working. We're still trying to like fine tune, but yeah, he'll definitely be out next year. Again, like a really cool sculpt. He's got just that chunky kind of grungy like fur texture. It's a really cool figure. The mouth is hinged. Yeah, Big Bird too. Big Bird's got a hinged mouth. Oscar's mouth is hinged. I'm pretty sure the eyelids are on it. I think there's a joint there, so you can you can adjust the eyes.
He's got to frown a little bit more, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he should be able to like frown and stuff. He was supposed to. I'm pretty sure that joint is still in there. But yeah, and then he's got his rubber yucky.
I was gonna say, I don't know how you guys would be able to recreate that sound effect, even if you were able to put.
Oh, you don't want it's too horrible a sound. No one wants. Imagine that, like in the middle of the night, there's just this horrible scream from the toy shop. Good God, what?
It will be a cherished piece of the collection, probably much to the chagrin of the rest of my family as I try to replicate that noise myself. Now, is he? Are you still planning on including the elephant trunks with him as well?
No, those ones got cut. I had a feeling they would.
Yeah,
it's a big first to go. So yeah, it's a big piece, and it's a lot of complicated bendy wires and stuff. So those are probably getting like pushed into an accessory set or like another version or something. Those are kind of going off to the side until we know where to put them.
Okay. Okay. What about Slimy? Is Slimy making?
Yeah. He'll have Slimy. I think most of his other accessories are there. There's like, he has the letter T.
Yeah.
There's Slimy. There's a shoe. I think there's a fish wrapped in a newspaper.
Nice.
Well, I don't know. That's like, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
I really appreciate the deco of the trash can itself, because one of the things that I absolutely adore about what I consider to be my era of Sesame Street is like the realness, and I don't want to say grittiness, but just like the lived in nature way Sesame Street looked, and with the trash can, it's kind of like a set piece too. It brings that forward. So I really like that in this too. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's not all like squeaky clean. There's dents, and it's it's all rusty and like beat up and stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, Oscar, like Big Bird, another one of those essential characters that I'm glad to see you guys getting to. But then the next few, I don't know. It's like if you like me being egocentric, you guys like tapped into my brain as far as like some of my favorite, like Bert's my favorite Sesame Street character. But then like we get into like this next group of my favorites, and you guys have like hit on a bunch of them, and one of them was like this picture is all the way back from Toy Fair, but it's like you guys showed off Harry Monster as one of the very first ones. So I wanted to do a check-in on him to see how he's doing, because I remember you commenting at San Diego that he was having some work done as well, right?
Yeah, he got reworked a little bit. Yeah, it's still he'll be out at some point. I don't know when, but he's
got the best pants on Sesame Street.
Huh?
He's got the best pants on Sesame Street.
Oh yeah,
man.
oh yeah, I know. That's a crazy thing you just never see, except for in like the storybooks and the toys and everything. But yeah, he's one of my favorite characters too.
Yeah,
he's just great on those old episodes. So yeah, we'll make sure we get him out at some point. I know at one point when we were developing all these new characters, it was just like it's all just blue monsters.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's like several of them all in a row, and I was like, we need to maybe just split these up, because visually when you see like it's like wave 2 or wave 3, and it's just like every character's blue.
Yeah.
So
well, well, I like his fuzzy and blue look, but also he's one of those great characters because of his size. He like helps like bring the gang or the collection together, with Big Bird being so tall, but he's like kind of in the middle there because he's much some of the others. So I like that variation of size that we're already starting to see in the line too. So yeah. Well, I can't wait for Harry Monster. So I'll be looking forward to when he does make it out. But another one, again, two guys that are, they're polar opposites but always together, are Grover and Mr. Johnson. And last when we talked, I think the plan was that maybe they would be coming together in a set. Is that still the plan, or have things changed for them?
That's still the plan, is putting them out as a 2-pack. So yeah, that hasn't changed yet.
Well, Grover, if I had to pick, I'd say Grover was probably my second favorite Sesame Street character from when I was a kid, and definitely he's always been my mom's favorite character too. So I've kind of had a Grover voice, and my girls love Grover as well. So he's one that's pretty extra special for me too, and he's going to have bendy arms still as well, right?
He's got bendy arms, and they're awesome. They're it's just like it has this perfect like Muppety kind of it's just not right if you put like a hard ball joint like in the elbow. So yeah, he's got these bendy arms. You can just do all kinds of just weird, like it's just it's perfect. The hinge jaw and so you can get, and there's a couple joints like in the head, the neck, and the torso, so you can get like you just get like these perfect like Muppet poses,
Yeah.
So,
and he is of course offset with the poor Mr. Johnson, who from a figure standpoint, he has the best and possibly the most relatable expressions in the line so far, and you're gonna probably get me for a couple of these because I can't choose. I need to have both of these on display.
Well, and he was an anything Muppet, so you can just buy tons
Fat
of them.
Blue. He was Fat Blue forever, right?
Yes, you just like customize them and like make a million different versions.
Yeah. Well, so what's crazy too about this figure is that when you watch Sesame Street, it's like you have to have the understanding that these are being puppets being worked with, so you don't really get a good idea always of like the size and scale of everybody. But Sesame Street definitely has reference for all of that, and he's actually a lot shorter than I thought he ever was.
Yeah, he's tiny. So
but again, you put him with Grover, and then next to Harry, and then Big Bird. It's like the Sesame Street gang is all over the place, like they should be. And so that's just another element of building out this street, as it were, that I'm very much looking forward to. And I love that he appears to have a bowl of soup that comes in the set.
I think it's alphabet soup, because it's got all the little letters and stuff in there.
Oh, nice! With on the tray, and and Grover's got his towel. So when he is the waiter, from what I consider to be like probably their most memorable sketches together. So
when Grover's the waiter and he's screaming in the back at Charlie for this guy wants another bowl of soup.
You want the small hamburger?
There's a tiny hamburger. There's 3 hot dogs, because that's one with the Count, actually, not Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
And that's a good sketch. And then he's got his banjo from the music episode where they play Bert's in the tub, just trying to take a bath, mind his own business. One of the best episodes ever.
Bert just becomes more and more relatable, I think, the older that you get. So but no, that's this set just makes me like, so like having Bert and Ernie together was like the first thing that was like, oh, that just makes everything right in the world with me. But having these guys together as well, and joining the line so early is makes me very happy too. Are they, as far as like their production cycle goes, scheduling, are they further out at this point, or are they closer than some of the others? Can you even make that?
It'll be probably later on. It'll be somewhere with Oscar, like later.
Okay.
Yeah, if I had to guess.
Okay. So Big Bird's definitely next, but who's after him is still kind of TBD.
Has not been announced yet.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we gotta have some good surprises for Toy Fair. Okay. Yeah. So that's good. And then again at New York, again, you're playing all my hits is Sherlock Hemlock. It's like one of my favorite cherished childhood possessions that I still actually have was just the little figurine of Sherlock Hemlock. I wish it was close enough I could just go over and grab it. It's beat to hell.
Right over there.
Absolutely love it.
I have one up on my shelf right there.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, then you know what I'm talking about, and it's just he just always struck. He and like Forgetful Jones and those guys just always hit the right chord for me. So seeing him again this early on is fantastic, and he comes with X, which is perfect because finding clues for X marks the spot. And then of course, was that Watson that he comes with?
Yeah, Watson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. So that's a pretty impressive release set, because I would assume they all come together.
Yeah, that's the plan. He's really expensive because of that plaid coat. Some pretty high quotes, so we're trying to work all that. Watson may end up not making the cut if it comes down to it. But yeah, right now it's like it's those. And luckily, he's Sherlock Hemlock's a little bit smaller. He's on the smaller side, so that helps like balance all the costs and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really cool set. Stefan that works with us on all of this, like, I think he was like a big Sherlock Hemlock fan who was pushing for this one. This one is one of my favorite sculpts that we've done so far, because he has 2 heads too, and there's something the way that Fred sculpted this one. It's got this perfect like little Muppety wrinkles, and like the mouth plate, like I forget which head it is. It's either the open mouth or the closed mouth, but it just like it looks like a puppet, but it still has that magical, like Henson kind of
You,
thing
you,
to it, you know.
you can see some of that coming out, I think, right here in his chin and neck too, because it's
Yeah,
like,
there's
yeah,
it's just like getting all those little details where we're still trying to sculpt these like realistically. Like
sure,
Oscar's got all the dents on the trash can, and you know, we're trying to sculpt these like they are just like the puppet you see. But you know, still like they come alive with the performer and everything. So
yeah.
it's like trying to get that balance of like, you know, the two things. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite sculpts that we've done. And there's just so many good, when we're researching this stuff, like there's so many good skits with him and Watson trying to solve these like weird little mysteries or something. Like, I don't know.
What he shows up on the beach with Bert and Ernie too. Yeah.
He's
Wow.
got that music that kicks in.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. And I am jealous of a Muppet / action figures. I wish I owned a coat as handsome as that one, because he is extremely well dressed. So I can understand and appreciate the expense that comes with a deco like that. But man, now that I've seen it, I gotta have that.
That's like when we were talking earlier about like the shredder and like some of the chrome effects.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like when we sent this paint master over to China and they saw that all that plaid striping, they were just like, what the, like, seriously, like it can't just be like a brown coat. Like,
Yeah.
nope.
No way. But you know, thinking from a cohesive set release, it's like getting the letters and numbers out is like, it appears it's important to you. It's important to me as a collector, but having this like almost hot pink X be included with a mostly brown and green set is that's marvelous as well.
Yeah, they're fun. They're colorful. There's just, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff to like about these figures.
Well, I'm definitely excited for that group from Harry on down, because like I said, you guys are playing all my greatest hits all of a sudden with these, so I can't wait. But I know that someone who made his debut at New York Comic Con, even though I wonder about his debut at New York Comic Con simply because of where he's positioned with the nameplate, is someone that I know is very near and dear to your hearts, is Frazzle, and it's not Harry Monster. So are we seeing him a little early or what?
He might have got put out a little early, but that's okay.
Yeah.
These things happen.
Yeah.
And he is cool. So yeah, I was like, oh, why not? Okay, he's out. I said, just keep him out. He's awesome. I would run out of the room screaming when he would come on. Like when I was a little kid, I was terrified of Frazzle.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like where you got to just face your fears and like, you know, get over it. It's such a cool design, and it's such a weird. I'm kind of fascinated by him. And then like later on, like I think in the 90s, they sort of developed the character more than just like a weird goofy monster. He was in a lot he was in a lot of skits with like Gina, and they kind of softened his edges a little bit, and there's some good stuff. So anyways, yeah, Frazzle's a cool monster, and so we gotta make Frazzle.
Well, I was going to ask you about, you know, what was if there was a certain thing that, you know, brought your attachment or like of the character. So I'm happy to hear the story about initially being terrified and facing your fears, because you're right. It's designs like this that were off the wall and almost random to a point, that really made like the, I guess, diversity and the different characters on Sesame Street so great. Because I remember him, because he got into a sketch with the Fuzzy and Blue guys, with Grover and Harry and Cookie Monster with the hats and everything at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big memory take for me with him, and it's not lost on me that he comes with the letter U, whose like eyebrows are the same as his. So
Yeah,
that's pretty.
we're going because we have this list of all the letters,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, oh, I don't know. There's several different U's,
Oh, okay.
and but I was like, oh man, I don't know. This U's really funny looking, but he's also orange. I was like, I don't know if I want to put an orange U with an orange like figure. And then I was just like, oh, like look at those eyebrows. I was like,
Yeah.
they're like, you know, brother from another mother or something. Like they're totally related. And then I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, okay, it doesn't matter if they're both orange. Like they
Well,
just so they just
well,
go
and
together perfectly.
well, and you mentioned there's a lot of blue so far. It's like that line can take a lot of orange at this point to help break that up a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's all perfect to go together. So he may have been brought out a little early, so maybe he's a little bit further down the line. But
He's definitely further down the line. But yeah. That was definitely one in the back of my head. I was like, we'll probably hold him for like Toy Fair or something, or just later into 2026.
Yeah.
But that's that's cool. He's
Well,
he's
it's
out
good.
there.
It's good for me to see the fact that he already does exist in this form as far as like the longer range planning goes and all of the possibilities that can happen between now and then, because like I said, we all think about, especially this early on, our favorites. So it's like I can sit here and rattle off guys like I said, like Dawn Music and Mumford and forget all of these guys. It's like, well, Frazzle is here, so it's like I'm it's gonna be wait and see, because I
Yeah.
don't think
We work pretty far out, and
Yeah.
and there's just like a giant list of like all of our favorite characters, and like the line plan that we kind of like try to organize all of it. So yeah, there's a bunch of them.
So still, even though, as we mentioned, there's been a little bit of a gap, still lots of plans and things going on with Sesame Street. So that's great. That's great.
Okay.
Well, okay. Before I forget to ask, because I saw it in the background, you talked about the wall and the street light and whatnot. Are you still trying to cook up like something like an accessory set to
Oh yeah,
to this? Yeah.
yeah. Accessory set. Yeah, that's it's yeah. It's also you know it's on the docket. It's on the line plan. It's it's coming out next year at some point. So
Awesome.
the one thing, like, we wanted to wait a little bit because there's the like Sesame Street, when we were pitching it to them, originally it was like very like Bert heavy.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of wanted, it should, if it's an accessory set, it should kind of represent the whole line. So we kind of waited, and then we made sure that there's something for Big Bird, there's something for Grover, something for Oscar. It's like all the characters, by the time there's like, 5 or 6 different characters or 7 characters, whatever, there'd be something for everybody in this accessory set. So obviously, like the brick wall and the lamppost and stuff, those are just kind of like for everyone. They're generic. But yeah, they wanted to make sure there was more like character specific items for everyone in there.
Well, that's awesome, because the street was just as much of a character on the show, and it's like, so getting pieces like that, and then I'm like, hey, check this out, like these cool dioramas that you guys put out for the turtles behind me. It's like, I think something like that would be really cool for Sesame Street too, man. So
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. So we can expect to see Big Bird up next, and then an as yet unannounced figure for probably after him, but then start to see these guys as 2026 rolls on.
Yep.
Okay, well, man, I'm so stoked for Sesame Street, and we talked about that and Turtles, and we've been talking for more than 2 hours now. So you've been extremely generous with your time.
I don't know how we do that every year. I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's amazing.
just hit it and roll. But it's always appreciated, not only for you taking your time to chat with us, but also for all the stuff that you have been working on and you continue to work on. And like I said, I'm having a heck of a fun time with it, and I can't wait to see what's next already, man. So appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Thanks for having me on again. This is like such a fun yearly tradition. You know, I look forward to this every year. So
yeah, well,
appreciate it. And
well, we appreciate it, and I hope that you have good holidays as we are close to them, and you survive the end of the year push and on to Toy Fair. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. This is such a fun conversation to have, like we said, every year. So we enjoy everyone tuning in for this. So hope you enjoyed, and we will be back to talk again, hopefully at Toy Fair. But until then, everybody have good holidays and a good end to 2025, and looking forward to 2026 with everybody. So thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.